Let's impeach Merrick Garland, shall we? I think it's time. I think that you can make a case that Alejandro Mayorkas is the worst cabinet member, but you could also make a different case for Merrick Garland, not because he's necessarily done worse things. He has, but that's not the important part. The really important part is the fact that his influence may be stronger than even Alejandro Mayorkas as far as existential threats to the United States of America. So there's an article over at spectator.org, the American Spectator, by John Hartigan, a clear case for Merrick Garland's impeachment. Well, let's see. What do you think? Is this a clear case? I think it is. Let's see. During a recent Fox News interview, House Speaker Mike Johnson insisted that he's a rule of law guy. Johnson didn't elaborate, but it wouldn't be surprising if he's planning to call on the House to impeach Attorney General Merrick Garland for trampling on the rule of law by obstructing prosecution of a brazen $5 million shakedown by Hunter Biden. Here's the story of Hunter's shakedown and what Garland did to make sure he could never be prosecuted for it. On July 30th, 2017, Hunter sent this threatening WhatsApp message to an executive of CEFC, a large Chinese corporation he thought he had talked into giving him a seven-figure representation deal. This is a quote from the WhatsApp. It says, "I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father." Obviously, he's utilizing, whether Joe was there or not. I don't see why we would think he wouldn't be, unless you think that Hunter Biden is a liar. Oh wait, he is. But still, whether he is or not, he was clearly being used as a tool to pressure a foreign company to do his bidding. That's not a good thing, in case you didn't know. Back to the article. This is, again, according to John Hartigan. He says, and the threat worked. Records obtained by Senator Charles Grassley show that on August 8th, 2017, CEFC wired $5 million to Hunter's account at a U.S. bank. Hunter probably thought none of this would ever come to light, but 3 years later, an IRS investigation of his 2017 taxes turned up a copy of his extortionate WhatsApp message. And not long after that, the copy made its way to Garland's desk, and probably with a transmittal pointing out that Hunter's shakedown was a felony punishable by imprisonment for up to 2 years under U.S. Code 87D. Big problem. The matter had to be investigated, but investigation of the president and his son would involve the Justice Department in massive conflict of interest, right? Makes sense. Given that conflict, longstanding Justice Department regulations required Garland to appoint a special counsel from outside the U.S. government to investigate Hunter and his father. But instead, Garland took control of the case himself and sat on it until August 8th, 2022, when the matter became too old to prosecute under the federal 5-year statute of limitations, and Hunter went scot-free. That's the case for Garland's impeachment, and once opened in the House, here's how it would eventually be brought to trial before the Senate. After swift introductory proceedings in the House, the Senate would appoint Senator Patrick Leahy as president officer of the trial, and all the other senators would be sworn in as jurors and instructed that 67 guilty votes would be required for Garland's conviction. Garland would then be required to submit written answers to articles of impeachment charging him with defying the special counsel regulations and obstructing prosecution of Hunter's shakedown. That done, representatives appointed by the House would be required to submit written responses to Garland's answers, and then it would be off to the trial. On the witness stand, Garland would probably deny that he did anything to prevent prosecution of Hunter Biden's shakedown, arguing that all criminal charges against Hunter were automatically assigned to David Weiss, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware, and that Weiss alone was responsible for leaving the shakedown case unprosecuted until it had to be closed under the statute of limitations. However, the House's representative would immediately challenge that contention and obtain two key rulings from Senator Leahy. First, that Weiss was subject to Garland's supervision and direction, and second, that it would be up to the jurors to decide whether Weiss let the shakedown case wither away because Garland directed him to do so. So, after hearing all the evidence, what would the Senate's verdict be? Although many Democrats would probably vote for Garland's acquittal, The most likely outcome would be Garland's conviction and removal from office by the vote of 50 Republicans, 3 independents, and at least 14 like-minded Democrats. A stinging defeat for Garland, but a big win for Johnson and the rule of law. And let's face it, that would be a big win for America. Okay? Like I said, Merrick Garland is arguably the most dangerous bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. today. The way that he has weaponized the Department of Justice is in itself criminal, but it's always hard to prove that, right? That's based upon subjective this and subjective that. This is concrete. This is here. Okay? I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious to anybody with eyes to see that Merrick Garland protected Hunter Biden. And I mean, it's got a step-by-step process of how that protection happened. You can't argue against that. You can't. Not even, maybe Adam Schiff could, because Shifty Schiff, he can argue pretty much anything. If he had to make an argument that the sky was purple, he would pull out all the charts and he would pull out take like little snippets of information and rewire them until they said that the sky was purple. But outside of him, I don't see how any politician could get away with not impeaching Merrick Garland. Man, wouldn't that be nice? Look, folks, things are getting really insane out there. You see it. You see the challenges with the money, the challenges with energy, challenges with food. The food supply is not only diminishing, it's also changing. They don't want us to eat beef, especially they don't want us to eat all-American pasture-raised beef. Well, we at wholecowstld.com, we believe that you can have your beef and eat it too. You can sustain and keep it long-term by going there using promo code TLD15 and get long-term storage beef. These are bags with 12 servings of ribeye, New York strip, tenderloin, sirloin, the good stuff. All sous vide and then freeze-dried, put into a Mylar bag with oxygen absorbers so that they can maintain a shelf life of up to 25 years without refrigeration, of course. So go to wholecowstld.com and get you some beef, a lot of it, as much of it as you possibly can. Use promo code TLD15 for 15% off at wholecowstld.com.